documentary of Lee Quiller. We anticipate the full release August 2026. Unsilencedlands elected to release a trailer based solely on the public response to this case. Because the case is ongoing, even after more than 30 years, should speak volumes in reference to the challenges Lee has had to endure. Unsilencedlands is presenting details that is fully supported by documentation in condensed form.
First, this case has been reopened in both state and federal court for more than 3 years. Second, no one, including members of the judiciary, has been willing to address the intersection and combined implications of these claims. Third, the facts of this case clearly demonstrate that Lee did not qualify for a life sentence under California's 3 strikes law under any reasonable interpretation of the law. In addition, our followers will see that we will present compelling evidence demonstrating that Lee's conviction was obtained through fraud.
We begin by returning to the original area where it was reported that the crime took place more than 30 years ago. This followed from our reviewing the allegations raised in case number SC171374 concerning Mr. Lee, which became increasingly concerning upon further examination. At the time of his arrest, Lee was enrolled in college and working 2 jobs simultaneously. Based on the information we obtained, it appears that no favorable defense witnesses were presented at the trial on Lee's behalf, including individuals from his school or places of employment. A review of the available witness list indicates that the prosecution's witnesses consisted primarily of law enforcement officers and state officials. Because of this, Unsilencedlands was prompted to request the investigative report in the case. According to correspondence attributed to Lee's trial counsel Elizabeth and Barranco, it was stated that Ray Dobbs informed her, Attorney Barranco, that Lee's initial account was not credible, and that time was wasted attempting to verify it. The same correspondence also reportedly requested an additional 20 hours of investigative funding to further examine the circumstances surrounding Lee's arrest. In the same communication, counsel indicated an intent to develop a defense based on cocaine psychosis. For a lay person to review these documents, it would be compelling to accept them at face value. This goes against Unsilencedlands' protocol. We had to dig deeper. In no time, we verified that Lee identified 8 potential eyewitnesses, none of whom were interviewed by defense counsel. These individuals included college classmates, co-workers, and a supervisor. It is also claimed that none of these witnesses were contacted or interviewed during the proceedings. The materials reviewed by Unsilencedlands further show that certain evidence presented by the state was inaccurate or could not be independently verified. There was purportedly a proceeding held on July 10, 1996, according to a minute order signed by Superior Court Judge Herbert J. Exeros. It reflects that Lee was present in court, requested to represent himself, was advised of his rights, and waived his statutory right to counsel and trial. Unsilencedlands has obtained medical documentation showing that at the time of the alleged July 10, 1996 proceeding, Lee was in fact confined in a hospital at the George Bailey Detention Center in San Diego, California at the very time of the hearing, which directly conflict with the court's record. Subsequently, on August 14, 1996, attorney Elizabeth A. Barranco was reportedly appointed as co-counsel following the July 10 proceedings. On August 20, 1996, Lee is then described as having withdrawn self-representation, with Ms. Barranco becoming counsel of record. As will be demonstrated, all 3 of these hearings appears to be fraud upon the court. Lee says he never attended any of these hearings, and the Unsilencedlands team has not been able to find one reported court record, which are mandatory to become a part of the permanent record. Moreover, Lee filed lawsuits in both the state and federal courts attempting to get these records. He sued the court clerk, the reporter, as well as the Superior Court Judge Exeros. Unsilencedlands can further confidently show that Barranco's representation began with her committing fraud by embezzling state funds and using Lee as an alibi. It is also noted that on June 3, 2007, Ms. Barranco was disbarred following admissions of misconduct involving 15 of her clients. Unsilenced's team members have a wealth of experience, and no one on our team has ever heard of such blatant judicial abuse.